It was a really battle for me to release my head, to come to my womb, to connect to her, to listen to her, and most of all to trust her. Hello and welcome. My name is Noga Adama, and I walk the shaman's ancient traditional path for almost 20 years now. The last time we met, I taught you how to start to trust your womb by asking her simple questions that the answer to them is yes or no. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go to the previous video. I'll put a link to it, and start by practicing the first step. Now that you have been practicing for 3 weeks, the first practice of yes and no questions, you started to develop a new trust to your womb. You started to develop also your own communication with your womb. You started to develop, because 3 weeks is really a very short time. So I'm saying started because it is really just the start of what your relationship with your womb can become, and it takes years to establish a deep, loving and trusting relationship. But this is a wonderful start. Now you can listen, you can hear the yes and no answers of your womb. And that is wonderful, because many of our questions that we have, many of our decisions that we take daily, are decisions of yes and no. Should I do that? Shouldn't I do that? Should I go there? Shouldn't I? Should I return the phone? Shouldn't I? So all these questions, you can now go one level up and ask more serious questions that matter to you. And because you now already know how to hear a yes or no from your womb. Maybe she tells it and you hear inside you yes or no. Maybe you see a green or a red light. Maybe you just know from inside without words. Maybe you feel something, like you feel, if it is a yes, and you feel some kind of exhilaration or open, and if it is a no, you feel something which is more closed. You have established now the first step of communicating with your womb. I remind us all that we want to get to a stage where we trust our womb to be the leader of our lives. Like most of us, I grew up in this culture, which taught me from a very little age that the most important thing to learn is how to think. And I was really good at thinking, at analyzing. I was a very good student in school, in university. I was good in mathematics, in computers. Everything in my life always guided me to learn how to use my head and analyze it. And everything that I got back from society was that this is the good tool. This is an amazing tool. The head is an amazing tool. So when I first encountered from my teachers, my shaman teachers, the option or the knowledge that here is really the treasure and not here, I found it really, really hard to leave my head and to trust the womb, because I learned for so many years that the head is something that I should trust and that the head knows. So it was a really battle for me. And I can say that even after 20 years, it is still something that I am choosing. It is not automatic. The culture that we live in, the society, will always direct us to listen to our head. And this ancient knowledge that my teachers taught me is not a known knowledge. And it takes really time to learn to trust your womb. To be a woman who is a leader is not to be a fighter and not to be like a man. It is to be a woman who knows her womb and who follows her. So, our next step, our next practice is to ask questions, our womb. Questions which decide between two options. Really simple questions, like, what will I wear today? Should I wear the red dress or the blue dress? What should I cook for dinner today? Should I cook potatoes or soup? What should I watch in the evening in the television today? Should I watch this movie or this series? But it should be two. To decide between two options. Again, simple questions, not asking now questions which will decide upon your life for the next 20 years. We are not there yet. We are practicing listening to the womb and choosing between two options. So, we will do the practice. If you have forgotten, it's always good to remember that this is our gate to our womb, the sacred triangle. We put it under our belly button. This is the entrance to our womb, to our cave, to our dark and wet cave. This is the most sacred place on earth. It is surely the most sacred place in our bodies. So we take a deep breath and we put our awareness inside the triangle. We enter the triangle into our womb, our cave. If you don't see it, you may feel it. If you don't feel it, you may listen to it. If you don't hear it, you may just know you are there. Once you enter the cave, which is dark and wet and cozy, inside our womb we feel good. You can take a really deep breath just to release all the worries, all the things you have to do, everything that is on your list, all the things that bother you. Just for a few minutes, let them go. You can leave them outside the cave and let yourself enter the cave and be in the cave and relax. Really breathe deeply and just relax. Let yourself be surrounded by love. Let yourself be surrounded by a hug of the cave, which loves you just as you are right now. Nobody wants anything from you. You can just be. And now it is time to ask a question, a really simple question of asking the womb to help you to decide between two options. Ask the question, should I do this or this? What to choose between this or that? And the womb will show you or tell you or let you know what is the perfect choice for you. If you don't get a clear answer, it means that your head is in the way, and your head doesn't want your womb to take the lead. So just take a deep breath. Tell your head that you will meet him later, and now you want to listen to your womb. Go inside the cave, really relaxed, and ask her, what is the choice? The best choice for me to take between these two options. And she will let you know. Good. Wonderful. Now it is time you can thank your womb for her guidance and let her know that you will meet again. So, good, wonderful. It needs practice, so don't get discouraged if the answers aren't coming always very clearly. This is why we practice, because we need the practice. We have never done this. Nobody taught us how to do this. We need to practice it, okay? It took me ages, and until my communication with the womb was good and clear. And I was very stubborn to leave my head, very stubborn. And even though every time I entered my womb and I succeeded to connect and to hear, it was marvelous, for some idiotic reason, I held very tight to listen to my head. So you don't have to do as I did. You can trust me and you can do it easily. But even if it is difficult for you and it takes time, don't give up. Again, if I did it, you can do it too. Exactly like in the last practice. Every morning you start by connecting to your womb for a few minutes and then asking a question. During the day, you ask again 3 questions of deciding between 2 options. This is why, also in this practice, ask simple questions, not fatal questions, not critical questions, not should I marry this guy or not, or what my career should be, or not. Simple questions just for the practice. And we will see each other in 3 weeks after you've practiced the second stage. Enjoy it. It is fun. Don't be too serious. Once we are in our womb, the seriousness that lies in our head is released, and we can laugh more and be more happy. I know that when I started to move, to live in my womb, joy and happiness and laughter are much more abundant in my life. So enjoy the time in your womb, and if you feel suddenly much more lighter and you are not so concerned, and the things that used to concern you before seem much more trivial now, it is a good sign. It is a good sign. It means that you are starting to connect to your womb in a good way. So best of luck, enjoy your practice, and I remind you, the most important thing, we live here on Mother Earth, and she loves you. She really, really loves you. Tangarena, tangarena, tangarena,